Welcome to lesson 4. We're going to be synthesizing multiple sources into an informational text. So this is our final lesson in the research and informational synthesis unit. And so far you have learned how to analyze informational text, evaluate credibility, paraphrase responsibly, and to cite correctly. So now it's time to pull everything together. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to synthesize. That just means combining the information from multiple sources to form just a single unified understanding. Think of it a little bit like weaving. Each source is going to be a different thread, and your job is going to be to connect them into one strong fabric of knowledge. And by the end of this lesson, you're going to be able to take 2 or more sources on a topic and find where they're overlapping or disagreeing and express those relationships clearly. You're going to learn how to blend paraphrased evidence smoothly into your own writing so that your voice leads the conversation, not the source's voice, but yours. And your goal is not to repeat what each author is saying, but to show how the ideas connect and what they mean together. So to synthesize means to take pieces of information from different places and create a new whole. So when you summarize, you explain what one author says. When you synthesize, you're explaining how multiple authors' ideas are relating. Where are they agreeing? Where are they differing? And what pattern or conclusion can you draw from that? So, for example, if one article argues that technology helps students learn and another warns that it hurts focus, then your synthesis might explore the balance between innovation and distraction in education. And summarizing and synthesizing, they're related, but they're not really the same. So when you're summarizing, you're restating what a single text is saying. When you're synthesizing, you're just going a step further. You're connecting several texts to show the relationships and a deeper meaning. It's kind of like comparing puzzle pieces. Each summary is giving you one piece, but the synthesis is when you fit them together to reveal the full picture. So this is a simple 5-step process to kind of guide your synthesis writing. First, we want to read and annotate each text from main ideas and tone. Then we want to look for how do those ideas relate. Maybe one expands on another, or maybe they're disagreeing. And then we want to develop a central insight. What are all these sources revealing together? Then we want to paraphrase the most relevant evidence, and we want to kind of weave it into our paragraph and cite each source. Because remember, you're creating a conversation between the authors with you as the moderator, and you're explaining what the discussion means. So let's apply this to a familiar topic. Teen sleep and screen use. So source A presents kind of like a medical explanation. The blue light disrupts the sleep hormones. So they say blue light from phones and tablets delays melatonin release, making it harder for teens to sleep. And source B says limiting technology before bed can help improve sleep and focus during school hours. And source C says despite the health warnings, most teenagers report using screens within 30 minutes of bedtime. So source A, medical explanation. Blue light disrupts the sleep hormones. Source B supports this, but it adds a solution. So it's limiting technology that can improve focus. And then source C is providing data showing the behavior persists despite the evidence. So if we combine these ideas, a synthesis might argue that, even though the science is clear about screen time's risks, social habits make change difficult without education and structure. So that would be a good synthesis for all 3 of these things. So this is how synthesis looks in writing. Research consistently links late-night screen use to poor sleep quality among teens. The CDC reports that blue light delays the body's release of melatonin, while Harvard Health notes that restricting device use before bed improves academic focus. Yet a 2025 Pew study found that most teens continue to use screens before sleeping, suggesting awareness alone may not change behavior. You see, this isn't just summarizing the 3 sources separately, it's integrating them. We have evidence from the CDC and Harvard Health that's supporting the same claim, but the Pew research is going to add a contrast by showing that the behavior hasn't changed. And each citation supports a point in a connected flow, not just a list of reports. So your own synthesis paragraphs should do the same. They need to combine the ideas and show how they're interacting and guide the readers to your conclusion. And then we need to use transition words. These transition words, they're like the glue that holds the synthesis together. So they signal the relationships between the sources, agreement or contrast or cause and effect. So we want to use transitions like however, or likewise, or building upon, and that's going to help the reader follow your reasoning and see the dialogue between the texts. Remember, synthesis writing should sound like a smooth conversation, not just a list of summaries. So we might say, however, on the other hand, in contrast, or yet. And that's to show contrast. To show connection, we want to say similarly, or likewise, or in addition, or both sources show blank. If we're building on ideas, we could say furthermore, or expanding on this, or building upon. Or if we're just concluding, we want to say therefore, or overall, or as a result, or something like together these studies suggest whatever. So let's practice. All three sources here, source 1, 2, and 3, are talking about exercise, but they're talking about exercise from different angles: biology, behavior, and education policy. So I want you to read these and figure out how can you combine these. A strong synthesis might say that exercise clearly improves mental health, yet school systems that limit PE may unintentionally harm student wellness. So I want you to use that idea as a guide, and I want you to write your own synthesis paragraph. So common synthesis mistakes come from just surface level thinking. Students often write one sentence per source without linking them, and that's just summarizing. Others mention agreement but ignore the opposing evidence. So you always want to ask, what do these sources mean together? And finally, don't forget your citations, don't forget your transitions. They kind of turn a patchwork of quotes into a unified argument. And before I wrap up, I want you to reflect on today's lesson. Synthesis is not just about collecting facts, it's about creating connections. And when you can synthesize, you're moving from repeating the information to producing insight. And this is the mark of a mature writer and thinker. This skill is going to carry over into your essays and your projects and even your discussions where evidence and perspective are going to matter. So next time we're going to move into our final activity. We are creating a visual synthesis project. So I want you to design an infographic or a slide presentation that combines sources on a topic of your choice. Doesn't matter what topic it is, you get to choose the topic, you get to choose the sources, and you want to apply everything that we've practiced. Credible sources, paraphrasing, summarizing, and clear citation to visually communicate your research findings.